This new Texas A&M defense is absolutely insane. To hold Brady Cook and that offense to 10 points is commendable. Let's check out this post-game press conference by Mike Elko, and let's see what he thought about the game.
All right. Where do you guys want to start? Yeah, I'm proud of our guys. We challenged them to come out and play a complete game. I thought we did that. It was a very good Missouri team, and we knew we were going to have to play start to finish. We started fast. We stayed on them, made a lot of stops on defense in the first half, really kept the game in rhythm. Connor obviously came out, had a heck of a day, 18 for 22. Le'Veon, again, running the ball for 11.5-yard average. We dominated the rushing game. We won on third down. We won on touchdowns in the red zone. We did the things that we need to do to be successful playing the game of football. And so proud of our guys. You know, this was a 6-game stretch for sure. That was a challenge with them coming off of a bye week and us coming off of having played 4 Power 5 teams already at this point. And so I thought our kids responded to that challenge. And just the last thing I'm going to say, and I'm going to say this because it needs to be said, you know, you can challenge Connor for how he plays, and you can be upset about Connor for how he throws a football. Some of the stuff that has been said about this kid and written about this kid, not by you guys have been great, is embarrassing. It's absolutely embarrassing, the stuff that gets out there on this kid. This kid's a winner. He's a competitor. He does everything that he needs to do for Texas A&M football. And there's a lot of people right now that need to stand up and recognize what they've said over the last 3 weeks and take some ownership in it. So from there, I'll open up to questions.
So before they get started with the questions, man, the fact that Missouri had a bye week, they had 2 weeks to prepare for Texas A&M, and Missouri came out there and got dog walked. I mean, absolutely outmatched, you know, this just like, you had 2 weeks to do what? To do what? Man, shout out to Mike Elko and Texas A&M. A lot of people wrote these boys off after losing to Notre Dame in the opening week. But as you can see, teams that are kind of battle tested tend to fare better off late in the season. And we at the point in the year where you either got it or you don't. So let's see.
Row Brent, and then to the left, Olin.
Speaking of Connor, when did you know he would be the guy, and how did his week of practice go? And also, is Marcel Reed okay? I'd heard something maybe about his ribs as well.
Yeah, no, Marcel's okay. He went in at the end of the game. Marcel got just sore from running the football and getting tackled, but Marcel's okay. Probably coming off the field Thursday, we had an idea it was going to be Connor. He was able to take a full week of practice. We were really happy with how he practiced. We kind of wanted to just get into today and make sure pregame he had the zip that we hoped he would have, and he did. And so once we saw him throwing the ball around the way he's capable of, we felt good that that's the direction we wanted to go.
Front row left, Olin, and then Kirk on the end.
Yeah, Mike, could you have foreseen, considering the explosiveness of Missouri's offense, an outing where your defense is going to hold them to just one touchdown? And I also wanted to add into that, did the crowd noise, do you think, how much did it assist y'all defensively?
Yeah, I mean, I think the 12th man certainly heard some of the statements made about how easy it was to play in Kyle Field, and that was good, and they were certainly riled up, and we always appreciate them. We knew they'd be there strong this week, and we're capable of being a really good defense. When we communicate, when we do things the right way, when we play the game that we're capable of playing, we're capable of being a really good defense. And so for the most part, we did that today. Still some things to fix and clean up, but if we keep progressing, we have a chance to be a pretty good defense.
Second row.
And I mean, that defense was swarming. I mean, to do to that offense what they did to it, you just kind of have to tip your hat to it, man. I mean, 6 sacks, 8 tackles for loss. I mean, well, what more is there to say? Like, I mean, that's just a dominant defensive performance. Like, you played the number 10 team as best you could, and the results were beautiful. As on your end, on the other end, it's ugly. That thing ugly. Like, Missouri got a lot of things they need to iron out, but Missouri will be fine. Like I said, I still like one loss, one bad game ain't gonna hurt you too bad. With a 12-team playoffs, you may sneak in if you can win out and do all that stuff, and you probably could drop one more game. To be honest with you, you can still probably squeak into one of those 12, 11, 10 spots. So it's interesting, man. But shout out to that defense. 6 sacks, 8 tackles for loss. Nick Scorington was electric, was dominant from start to finish. Who else? I mean, that D line just played beautiful, man. Beautiful.
Go right, Kirk, and then we'll go to the left, Alex.
Yeah, Mike, can you play any better than this? You know, you played against a top
Yes,
10
yes,
team
you
and
can.
just dominated from start to finish. And are you guys a serious SEC contender at this point?
We're 5-1, 3-0 headed into a bye week. That's all we are. And can we play better? Yeah, I think we can play a lot better. I still think there's a lot of things out there that we can play and fix and do better. And so, we're in a growth mindset. That's how we talked about this thing. We were going to get into this season and put our head down and try to grow every single day, get better, and ultimately just try to reach the capability that this team has, whatever that is, whatever that ultimately amounts to. We didn't flinch when we didn't get the job done against Notre Dame. We just kept grinding. And again, these aren't statements. I'm not trying to make statements about anything, but we just got to keep going. We're where we want to be right now. We couldn't be in a better spot responding after Notre Dame. But at the end of the day, we still have half of a season to play, and this thing can still go a lot of different ways. And so we got to still keep working.
So,
Hey, I love it. Keep your head down the grind. Just worry about the game that's in front of you. You 5-1, 3-0 in the conference. That's all you get. That's all. And I like that. That's all we are. I'm not saying we this. I'm not saying we that. But we 5-1, 3-0 in the conference, and that's a simple statement, but it's a powerful statement too.
second row on the left, Alex.
Yeah, specifically just what'd you make of how you guys were able to control the line of scrimmage on each side, and specifically getting after Brady Cook? It never seemed like he got into a rhythm.
No, I think these are the games where you're going to get sacks, right? When you get a big lead and the quarterback's kind of got to sit back there and throw the ball, and that puts him at a lot of risk, and that's really challenging. And so, we were able to pressure him quite a bit today. I think we got him 6 times, and he's a talented kid. He's a really good player. We knew we had to try to make him uncomfortable with all the skill that we had, and I thought we were able to do that today.
And this is the thing about the 6 sacks. They tallied 6. That mean they was getting back there a lot more. They probably getting QB hits. He probably threw the ball away a few times. 6 is just the number that was recorded, but the pressure overall was probably insane. On his 31 drop back, I think he had like a 25% completion percentage or like a 25 QBR. One of the two. I gotta go back and look at it, but that defense was humming, boy.
Fourth row on the right, Ben, and then we'll go to the left, Sam.
Just going back to the environment, almost same, I guess, dynamic as complimentary football in the sense of y'all playing well, the crowd gets involved, and y'all feed off of that. What are some things y'all talk about as a team, especially easy things within y'all's control to be able to maximize that home field advantage?
Yeah, it's really, football is about, the focus that you have to do what you're supposed to do every single play, right? And that's the challenge of the game of football. And it's hard. It's hard for 19-year-olds to stay dialed in for 3.5 hours amidst all of the challenges and the elements out there. But when we do that and we play to our capability, we have a chance to be really good. And I think the kids are starting to at least believe that a little bit, that if they'll just stay focused on the things that are important and do the things that are important, we have a chance to have some success.
Sixth row on the left, Sam.
Hey, Mike, I just wanted to ask you about what you mentioned on top. What bothered you most about what was said about Connor outside of here?
How false and fictitious it all was.
I mean, this criticism specifically.
Not criticisms of him as a quarterback.
Okay.
You can criticize him as a quarterback. He stood up here. He owned his performance. We're all in this arena to be criticized. That's sport, right? When you start taking personal shots on a kid and you start talking about personal things that are grossly fictitious and grossly false, and those things become stories and start running, that's embarrassing.
And what we saw from him today, how much of that was a function of him being healthy, and also how much of it was he's more comfortable in this scheme and this offense now?
No, listen, we owned what happened against Notre Dame. We played bad. We played bad on offense. Everybody stood on this podium and said it. We called a bad game. I coached a bad game. Receivers played a bad game. Quarterback played a bad game. We played bad, and everybody in our program owned it. So I don't know that it's anything other than we had a bad night and we went back to work to get better, and we're seeing progress moving forward since then. And today we played better. And so now we've got to keep doing that. This doesn't become a statement, we've got to keep doing it, because we're going to have other big opportunities here where we're going to have to go up and we're going to have to perform and we're going to have to play football the way we know how.
Third row on the right, Cedric, and then we'll go back behind the lights.
Hey, Mike, and after that Notre Dame game, you knew this game was coming up, and this was kind of an early season acid test for you. What was the general feel in the locker room over these last 3 weeks, knowing that this was going to be a really big test?
Yeah, I don't know that at that point, I don't know that you pointed to this game. I think we were just trying to move forward, and get better. And, the first hurdle obviously was going down to Florida and winning an SEC road game. We were able to do that. Then, we struggled to close out the Bowling Green game the way we wanted to. The Arkansas game's always a hard-fought game. We knew that was going to be that. And, we just talked all week this week about, the last 3 games we played that we won. We had moments where we played really well and then moments where we didn't. And we had to eliminate the poor parts of our game, and we had to kind of focus to play at our level the way we could. And today was maybe the first time we did that a little bit more consistently, and I think that's maybe what we're capable of.
Coach, will go back behind the lights, ladies first, and then Tyler.
Coach, you preach effort. We hear it at practice. We hear you talk about it. It felt like your team gave a full, complete game effort today. What do you think was the difference maker?
Yeah, just that. I think it starts with committing yourself to strain every play. And if you pour everything you have into something, you have a chance to be really good at it. If you kind of half-step your way through things, you can't be what you're capable of being. That's why I was so riled up for the defense at the end, even though they got that field goal. For them to continue to play the way they did down the stretch at that point, 41-7, but keep playing, keep trying to get that stop. I felt like that deserved the round of applause it got, and so it's what we want to pride our program on. I told you guys when I got hired at the opening press conference, we want to be a blue-collar group that maximizes our potential, and effort's certainly a starting point to that.
And Tyler White, just one of the best punts I think most of us in this room have ever seen. Just how much of an edge do you feel like that gives your special teams?
Yeah, Tyler's been punting the ball really well. I don't know how he got it to screwball like that. That was pretty impressive to slide out on the half-yard line. That was really big for us, but he's becoming a weapon, and so those things matter, and field position matters, and he's doing a great job helping us control it.
Back behind the lights, Tyler, then down front, Travis.
Yeah, Mike, kind of going off that, playing well at the end, and I know we didn't see a lot of red zone defense, but the way that there at the end, just what'd you make of the red zone defense, and like you said earlier, how this defense as a whole is progressing?
Yeah, I think at that point it was just more about, I was proud of their will to continue to play. At that point, the game wasn't in doubt, but we kept playing, and I think that's a step we needed to take coming out of some of the other games that we've played this year where maybe we didn't finish the way we wanted to. And so I was just proud that they just kept going and kept playing.
Down front, Travis.
Sorry, I'm a little under the weather still.
Hey, Coach, is there a moment early in the game, a play or something that you saw Connor that made you excited for where the day might go for him?
When did he hit the jump ball to Noah? Was that in the first quarter, second quarter, the one where Noah went up and rose up over the DB? That was kind of the one where, it was like, okay, like he's feeling, because he put that thing right where it needed to be for Noah to kind of turn and back shoulder it, and the ball placement on that one was really good. And when he made that throw, I was kind of like, okay, he's in a good rhythm right now. He's feeling good about himself.
And have you gathered any intel on the blanket and the card for Weiss early, and how did you feel like he responded?
My suggestion would be you guys should go ask Eli where that came from, because I have a strong feeling that came from the other side and had nothing to do with Texas A&M, Will Lee, or anybody over here. So you should point that one on the other side.
False news. Third row on the left, Dave. And we get time for one more, Mark.
Speaking of that, there seems like there was a lot of gamesmanship this week. The press conference where you talked about your quarterback situation. Like, when you're in this room and you hear those assumptions being made, how do you guys react to that?
We don't. We don't. I have all respect for the job that you guys have to do. I do. And you guys got to write what you see, and that's what we all signed up for. And so none of that has any impact on what we do, how we do things. I respect the job that you guys have to do. I really do. And so we can handle all that stuff. None of that stuff affects us.
Down front, Mark, you'll wrap us up. We got players ready.
Mike, it looked like the offense was moving at a much greater tempo today than it had been the last few weeks. Was that just something that you thought would work well against Missouri, or just the way it worked out, or what brought that about?
Yeah, probably rhythm. I think it's funny how offense works. When you make plays or you're having success, you kind of get into a rhythmic flow. You call the game faster. You can run some tempo plays. You're making first downs, and it all looks like it's going well. And then everyone says, well, why don't you just do that all the time? And I think what happens is you get stalled. You don't get the first downs. You don't throw. And it doesn't get in rhythm, and then you can't. It doesn't look the same, right? And so I think that's what we want it to look like. We've tried to push tempo a little bit throughout the year at different times. I think we realized it was giving us an advantage, and so we maybe pushed it a little bit more. I don't know if it was the heat or what, or the early kickoff. We just felt like it was giving us an advantage. Maybe they weren't quite ready for it, but I think that all comes from success, right? You hit a first down and you can go. You make a good play and you can go. Like, if you're not having some of those early down successes, it's really hard to play like that.
All right, so Texas A&M shout out for knocking off a team that many people thought you would lose. Number 9 versus 25. That's not a hard game to pick for most people, but for you guys, y'all made it hard, and I think this is great momentum as you guys head into the next 3 games. I mean, you got Mississippi State next week, then you got LSU, then you got to go to South Carolina. So it's a tough stretch. If y'all can at least go 2-1 in that little 3-game stretch, y'all should be fine. You probably can win out. But I would recommend going at least, 2-1, because you still got Auburn, still got Texas coming up. And then if you get the nod for the SEC championship, hey, brother, you got to play that game. So shout out to you guys. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments below about Mike Elko and that impressive defensive performance they had.